There are two hard problems. What is time? What is consciousness? What we are going to show you is that there are no two problems. There is only one. These are two different ways of asking the same question. I am Nirodha Gunadasa from introspectors.org. We work towards creating a proper platform for scientific investigation of the nature of consciousness, time, and existence. A base with only mainstream science, eliminating spirituality, belief systems, and pseudoscience. The conscious notion of time. Is there a time without consciousness? And is there a consciousness without time? Introduction. What is time? Imagine there's a clock you are watching from a distance. The distance is 3 light seconds. So the time you see on the clock is not the real time. It is 3 seconds late. Imagine you start going towards the clock. What happens to the time you see on the clock? You are moving from 3 seconds late to real time. So you will see the clock moving faster. Similarly, if you start going away from the clock, you will see the clock ticking slower. Now imagine you are moving away from the clock nearly at the speed of light. What would you see? It seems like you are moving with the light coming from the clock. So the same image of the clock almost stays with you as you move. So you will see the clock almost stopped. Here, at what speed does the light coming from the clock comes to you? In other words, what is the speed of light in relation to you? Is it zero speed? Speed of light is the same in all reference frames. That is, the light coming from the clock comes to you at the same speed of light, regardless of the speed you move. Now, can both be true? The clock seems to be stopped, but the light from the clock comes to you at the same speed of light. Here, Einstein came out with a great realization. He showed the clock is not seems to be stopped. The clock is actually stopped. That is the nature of reality. Sitting at the eye of the observer, Einstein showed how to work out the nature of time and reality if you want to accept the speed of light to be the same in all reference frames. We are sitting at the clock, watching the observer, watching you. We work out if the speed of light is the same in all reference frames, then what is an observer? What is observation? Or what is you? It is almost the same mathematics, but work out to elaborate on something else. What is consciousness? What is you? What is an observer? And what is time? These are not only intimately linked questions, they are the same question. Temporality of time you see, with the past different from future. and a present moment moving ahead is an illusion. You that you see is nothing else but the same stubbornly persistent illusion. Consciousness is notion of time and nothing else. How to prove it? For that, there are three key points you should generally understand. Number one, axioms of conception. An axiom is something that is assumed to be true without proof. An axiom is a starting point of reasoning. Mathematics is an axiomatic system built on a certain number of axioms. Set theory is an axiomatic system. Logic is an axiomatic system. Your perception is an axiomatic system. The world you see when you look out is like that, not because that is the absolute true nature of the world. The world is like that because that is how it is represented in the axiomatic system of your perception. An example, axiom of stopped space. Imagine empty space, space with no boundaries, no world, no air, no stars, just emptiness. In this emptiness, you see a rock moving. It moves steadily and straight. Imagine you chase behind this rock and getting onto it. You and the rock are now going through the darkness, going through the empty space. But is it true? Okay, now imagine the empty space and the rock stopped. Get onto that rock. Now, what is the difference between this scene and the previous scene? In both cases, after getting onto the rock, you see yourself standing on a rock and darkness all around. There is no sign of any movement of anything. There is no difference between them. Objects move in relation to objects only. Emptiness is not an object. There is nothing as such the velocity objects going passing the space. The belief that there is a stopped space around you and things move in relation to that space lies deep in your mind. There is no such a stopped space. The important thing is this stopped space is an axiom. The movement of the rock you saw is a representation out of that axiom. Stopped space is an assumption based on which you perceive the world. Once you realize that there is no such a stopped space, it goes off. Thereafter, the way you see the world does change. Why this is important to know? It is because you that you see, like the movement of the rock you saw, is an axiomatic representation. What will happen if you understood what those axioms are and understood they are not true? Then, like the movement of rock disappeared, you that you see disappear. You exist because you know you exist. When you don't know you exist, you are nothing more than a rock. How do you know you? You exist because you are axiomatically represented so. Number two, notion of time and existence. What you see as time. What you see as time is an axiomatic representation. The notion of time is difficult to study because we are in time. Our existence, thoughts, observation, and knowing are in time. Therefore, the notion of time cannot be objectively studied. By trying to objectively study space-time as a four-dimensional structure, we assume ourselves to be in a fifth dimension of time and from which we objectively look at space-time. This is of no use for us because the subject matter of our study is the observer of space-time. The right way of studying time for the purpose of understanding its conscious nature is to flip time axis with a length axis. For example, look at Earth orbiting the Sun. If you interchange the length dimension perpendicular to the plane of Earth's orbit with the time dimension, what would you see? You will see Earth as a very long spiral and Sun as a very long rod. The long rod of the Sun appear and grow to its full size and decay to vanish. The long spiral of Earth appear as a thin line and grow to the full diameter of the Earth and decays to vanish. At introspectus.org, we are showing you with calculations that it is mathematically plausible to conceive the world with such an altered time dimension, altered state of time, existence, and consciousness. They are equally meaningful realities with conserved momentum, energy, and charge. Our way of conceiving one particular dimension as time is personal to us as animals. Number three, notion of consciousness. What you see as you. What is commonly known as consciousness and what we mean by consciousness here can differ. What we mean by consciousness is you. This is what we mean by consciousness. Imagine everything is taken away from you, each and every object around you, trees and the earth and the stars. Your physical body is taken away. Your emotions, desires, intentions are taken away. All the memories of you are taken away. There is no space. There is nothing, not even darkness. Imagine there is absolute nothingness. Be with this nothingness for a while. Just imagine in this nothingness, is there anything left? There is the sense that there is nothing. Look carefully and deeply into this sense of nothingness. The sense that there is nothing. The notion nothing exists. The notion something exists. The notion of existence. See, whenever this notion of existence is there, there is you, full and complete. See, if this notion is not there, there is no you. All other things are regardless. If there is no notion of existence, there is no you. You are the notion of existence. This is enough to generally understand you are time. It is plausible to conceptualize any dimension as time. Your way of representing one particular dimension as time is personal to you. Then, the present moment you see is not an absolute present moment. There is no such a real present moment except such axiomatic representation. Existence is in present moment. When there is no present moment, there is no existence. Notion of existence is you. When existence is an illusion, then the notion of you has to be an illusion. There is no real you. Present moment, existence, and you are one thing. When present moment is an illusion, then what you see as you is an illusion. Temporality of time you see with the past different from future and a present moment moving ahead is an illusion. You that you see is nothing else but the same stubbornly persistent illusion. It is the most important thing you should know in your life. This you that you are defending, protecting, and carrying forward is an illusion. Although there is no special present moment to time, we see a present moment so evidently, and we see things exist in present moment. It is a dead certain fact that you are watching this video now. Video has not come to its end yet. I'm not going to explain here how this stubbornly persistent illusion of present moment is generated out of axioms of conception. To understand it methodically, visit us at introspectors.org. Thank you.